and suddenly I felt nothing. I couldn't cry, so once again, I couldn't sleep.
What if an interstellar object whirling through our solar system is actually a nuclear-powered spacecraft sent by aliens to test how humans respond? That's what a noted astrophysicist believes might be the case, and he says an image from the Hubble telescope backs him up. But he's now going a step further, arguing that the 3I Atlas could be a nuclear-powered alien spacecraft. Loeb says the Hubble picture appears to show the object emitting its own light. The object also appears to lack something that all comets have in common, and that's a tail. So what is this thing exactly?
Take a close look at this footage of Atlas 3I. Does anything appear off to you? Doesn't Atlas 3I's speed look odd to you?
The supposed comet is catching the attention of some of the nation's most renowned scientists, as one Harvard professor is raising the theory this may actually be a piece of alien.
It's something that they are not telling us about this 3I Atlas situation. And I really try to stay away from this topic, but every time I jump down a rabbit hole, I find things that really just don't add up. Mind you, they're saying that this thing, this asteroid, let's call it an asteroid, the size of Manhattan, that's moving faster than the speed of light, can be here in November. They're also saying that, well, they're not saying, but they're saying that they've had communications with this, or whatever it is. So again, you have something the size of Manhattan, moving faster than the speed of light, coming here in November. Tell me if that adds up to you. And this is why I keep saying, everybody, you have to protect your peace. I said it in a couple of videos. People might have taken it the wrong way. You might have taken it out of context, but understand what I'm saying. Protect your peace, because whatever is gonna happen, whatever is coming, like I said in another video, they already know about it. They've been planning it. This is why they're telling us what they're telling us now. It's always a look this way, but something happens this way type of situation. And with this shit right here, come on now. Do you really think that something can be coming into our Earth and the powers that be are just learning about it, or just finding out about it? That doesn't make sense. Just like they try and hide everything that goes on in Area 51. Just like they try and make us believe that it's just us. We're the only people that think this way, move this way, react this way. Nah, man. What about civilizations before us? Yo, listen, I'm not even gonna get into it. What I will say is this: protect your peace. Because in the next couple of months, we might see some things that even our imagination can't process. Think about that. Think about that. Whatever God you have, pray to it. I'm out.
Just when we thought 3I Atlas was starting to become a little bit more conventional, a little bit more comet-like, it throws us a crazy curve. Now, to be clear, 3I Atlas is finally starting to develop a stubby tail, which is not atypical for a comet at the distance from the sun that 3I Atlas currently is, about 2.5 times the Earth-Sun separation, or 374 million kilometers. The observed tail is approximately 30 arc seconds across the sky, or about 56,400 kilometers long, pointing towards the southeast. It's about 10 arc seconds, or 18,800 kilometers wide, which is significantly more extended than its compact appearance in images of 3I Atlas from early July 2025, or even images taken of 3I Atlas by the James Webb Space Telescope. But to be clear, just because a stubby tail is starting to form, that does not mean that 3I Atlas is a conventional conventional comet. Indeed, we've made discoveries recently that indicate that this object was emitting some sort of material from its surface as early May of this year, according to the Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite images that appear to indicate a 3I atlas that is starting to outgas or produce some sort of material at an enormous distance from the sun, 6 times the Earth-Sun separation, when it shouldn't have been outgassing anything at all. So whatever this haze is, dust or perhaps some other material that has surrounded this object since it started to make its way into the solar system, it's been there for a very long time, and it might not have even been there as a result of the sun's heat warming it. Might have been produced as a result of some other kind of activity. But what is far more significant than the tail, the dust, or behavior of this cloud around 3I Atlas is its composition. James Webb already told us some strange things about it. The fact that it's producing an enormous amount of carbon dioxide and very, very little water and carbon monoxide, something that no other comet in history has ever done. But now, for the first time, we have evidence of metal on this object, or specifically, one type of metal that shouldn't be there by itself if 3I Atlas is a natural object, but definitely could be there if it's artificial.
Did you hear that yesterday 3I Atlas sent a message to space, and it is throwing the scientific community into a tizzy, and you won't believe what the message says. I'm going to tell you, but do you think we should respond back to it, or do you think it's dangerous? So, as you know, 3I Atlas is that interstellar object that is passing right by Earth in November, and the world's top scientists have been saying, hey, look, this doesn't seem like an asteroid, it doesn't look like a comet, it actually looks like it may be an alien craft, an alien vehicle from a different galaxy. Well, the satellite dishes in Chile yesterday received a message, and the head scientist there said it was like a Morse code-esque message. It was radio frequency, and we didn't know how to interpret it or crack the code, is what he said. So they ended up plugging it into ChatGPT and saying, hey, can you solve this? And it did, and it spit out what the message is saying, and it says, hello, friends, don't be worried, don't be scared. We watch Earth. We watch you, we return to elevate Earth. And then it went silent for a bit, and at the end it said, hang tight, friends, hang tight, friends, twice in a row. And so my question is, are they friendly? Do we respond and say, hey, when are you coming back? Is there anything we should know? Or do we just stay radio silent? But this changes everything about humanity's future and what we know, that we are not alone.
It started as nothing more than a flicker, barely a whisper in the data, a cold, silent speck moving far faster than anything that should have been out there. Observatories from Hawaii to South Africa picked it up first, their alerts flooding in almost simultaneously before NASA stepped forward to confirm it. An object, unregistered, unknown, and most disturbingly, coming from beyond our solar system. At first glance, it looked like just another rock, a wandering traveler from the void. But then the anomalies began to stack up. Its velocity was off the charts, its path unnervingly precise, and its surface reflecting light in ways no asteroid ever could. And when scientists traced its route backward through the darkness, they realized it wasn't just passing through, it was heading straight for the beating heart of our planetary neighborhood. The James Webb Space Telescope turned its gaze toward it, and what it began to reveal was not just unprecedented. It was something we may not be prepared for. Because if it's not just a visitor, if it's something watching us, the entire definition of deep space might be about to change forever. Between June 25th and June 29th, the Atlas tracking system locked onto it, a mysterious interstellar object that would be named 3I Atlas. But unlike the countless icy wanderers cataloged over the years, 3I Atlas defied every expectation. It was moving at over 152,000 miles per hour, yet it followed no known orbital path, and when its origin was backtracked, it didn't point to the Kuiper Belt or even the farthest reaches near Neptune. Instead, it came from deep interstellar space, a region so remote it had likely been traveling for millennia before entering our cosmic neighborhood. The timing was the first red flag. Before 2017, humanity had never detected an interstellar object. In the short years since, we've encountered 3, and each one has been stranger, faster, and more baffling than the last. Oumuamua in 2017 was elongated and moved with unexplained acceleration. Borisov in 2019 was faster and more volatile. And now, 3I Atlas, brighter, more precise, and far more unsettling. The James Webb's instruments began dissecting its light signature, but the data only deepened the mystery. The object's reflected brightness suggested it should be massive, yet scans showed it was surprisingly small. This contradiction hinted at a surface unlike anything natural, more akin to polished metal than rock, cold yet highly reflective, possibly even hollow. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who famously speculated that Oumuamua could have been artificial, immediately raised the same concern here. Look for non-gravitational acceleration, he urged, because if it was propelling itself, that meant intent.
They're not telling you the full story. A comet, known as C2025X7, is expected to pass near Earth this November. But something's not adding up. Its trajectory is too precise. Its velocity doesn't match what we expect from a typical comet. And the strange part? It's not reflecting light the way ice and rock should. Multiple astronomers have already pointed this out. Some even say it's changing course slightly, like it's being guided. But here's where it gets disturbing. Military observatories have gone silent about it, and leaked footage shows a massive object surrounded by what looks like energy signatures. People are starting to ask, what if this isn't a comet at all? What if it's a disguised alien craft, one that's not here peacefully? Why November? Why now? And why the silence? If this is contact, it may not be friendly. Stay alert. And tell me in the comments, do you think they're already here?
If you're following the 3I Atlas story, every time something new is posted about it, it just does not seem to add up. What keeps complicating things even more and more, as you can see here, this thing is an asteroid. That's exactly what it looks like. And they're saying it could move faster than the speed of light. And it's also the size of Manhattan and could get here in mid-November. There's also alleged allegations that they have claimed that they have made contact with whatever this is that's heading toward Earth. You have something, as you see here, the size of Manhattan, moving as fast as the speed of light, and it can get here by November? So does that add up to any of you? The one thing I'm going to say here, and I want to be very clear about, something is coming and something may happen. Why? Because it's now being publicly spoken about in the news media. Here's just one headline from the New York Post out of New York. Manhattan-sized interstellar object, AI Atlas, could release mini probes that will appear as UAPs. That's what experts are warning. This is why I always say to you, keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to what is going on when it comes to things like this. Because if something is going to happen, or if something were to happen, keep it in the back of your mind. They already know what it is. That's why you're starting to see these news reports and people starting to talk about this on social media. Keep this thought in the back of your mind. Do you honestly believe that something that big could be coming this way, and they are clueless about it with all of the technology that we have and the world has? No one knows what's going on. Think about that. So also keep in mind that in the upcoming months, you may see things maybe in the sky or maybe on the ground, and you're going to say to yourself, what was that, or what is that? Keep it in the back of your mind, because we are being prepared for something that could be coming or could already be almost here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Could the
mystery signal from 1977 have been sent by 3i Atlas? Let me explain. Because to this day, no one knows where that signal came from. So in August 1977, astronomers at Ohio State University detected the signal using the Big Ear radio telescope, and it appeared to be coming from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. Guess what else is coming from the direction of Sagittarius? Oh, 3i Atlas. Now, a lot of people believe that this signal came from something extraterrestrial. It lasted for 72 seconds, and the intensity profile matched what would be expected from a fixed radio source. And they came from the same direction in space, probably just a coincidence, but it's a pretty cool coincidence, and this is still unsolved. Which brings me to what Physics Nobel Prize winner David Gross had to say. So Ave Loeb, the Harvard professor who has been very vocal this whole time that either this is a comet or it's something else, he just gave a talk in Copenhagen, which was originally only supposed to be about black holes, but the second part ended up being about interstellar objects also. Which then David Gross suggested that we should also observe 3i Atlas with radio telescopes for any technological radio transmissions coming from it. I mean, you've got to be giving a pretty compelling argument for other people to be like, you know what, maybe we should reach out. And Ave Loeb is like, I agree. He's like, we've already revealed our existence by broadcasting radio signals for over a century. This act might have triggered the visit. Also, if 3i Atlas originated from the inner edge of the Oort cloud, it would have started its journey 80 years ago when radio transmission became routine on Earth. And the first nuclear explosion took place July 16th, 1945, exactly 80 years ago. I mean, if that's where 3i Atlas ends up coming from, the timing is a bit uncanny. So 3i Atlas is like, oh, gotta go check on the kids. This message probably said y'all better clean the house before I get home. I mean, 3i Atlas has a whole boatload of weird characteristics. I mean, it's fine. I'm Sagittarius and I'm weird. But besides it not really having a tail, it also has that high concentration of nickel without iron, which is a hallmark of industrial refining processes on Earth. It's moving faster than any previous interstellar object. It's got an unusually high ratio of carbon dioxide to water, about 8-to-1. Is it a comet? Is it something else? I don't know, but you know what's going to happen in about a month? It's going to pass by the Mars high-rise camera. They better be showing us some pictures of 3i Atlas. Me and the devil.
3i Atlas is just the beginning. 2 more ships are on their way to Earth with the mission to invade and destroy. I was sent here to warn your governments. You have to move.
So now you're telling me that a council known as the Galactic Federation has been monitoring our planet since the beginning. They apparently were going to make themselves known in 2027, but due to everything that's been going on Earth, they've moved it up to 2025. They are on their third level of presenting themselves. First, starting with the orbs last year, which a lot of people have seen. The second phase, their motherships, their modes of transportation, have been all around the entire world, cloaked, multiple places that I've seen the videos. Now, once again, this is allegedly, but the third phase is the guy who was sleeping in the egg. The egg that the video that just came out recently, he was resting there, so he's basically their go-to guy. So there is apparently a council of 26, and there are the council of 5, which will be making their human presence known very soon to help us basically get through every bit of craziness that's been happening in our world right now. Now, obviously, anything I say is for entertainment.
What's that? Oh, some leaked information just came out saying that we are communicating with 3i Atlas, the 12-mile-ish long mothership that's heading towards Earth. Tell me more! Yes, you heard that right. It is confirmed. We are communicating with 3i Atlas, and it is on its way here, and they are not coming here in a friendly way. Oh, fun! That's about all the information that was leaked, but they are confirming that they have actually been on this planet before, and that they have been a part of resetting the planet. Okay. So I'm not sure how we're communicating with them, or exactly when they're going to be here, but it sounds like around November. So I wonder if that's why all these people have made these underground bunkers, because they were aware of this information. Okay. They also said that they could get off of our radar anytime to where we wouldn't be able to find them, and then they just show up when they're ready. Oh, fun.
You know what the darkest conspiracy theory about aliens is?
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
That Earth is essentially a farm, and human beings are the vessels that contain souls, and they want us because this is how they create souls. And so they're farming us. They've created us. So we started off as primates, and through some sort of genetic intervention, I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just saying that this is like top of the food chain. Put your tinfoil hat on super tight. That they farm us, and that the whole reason why human beings are involved in this conflict, constant conflict, it's all of it is to increase our competition with each other, increase our ability to control resources, which will increase our technology, which will ultimately lead to us creating this being that we're going to create, this artificially intelligent super god.
If you're another species out there in the galaxy, and all of a sudden this gorilla, which is humanity, finds the keys to its cage.
Once we cracked the atom.
Nuclear technology. Maybe it's in the interest of some of these non-human intelligences that we're put back in our cage.
We might have been under observation for quite some time.
A fundamental threat to the security of all peoples and all nations.
Do you think, for an instant, if any intelligence is able to monitor us, that they're not aware that we've just flipped the switch? Yeah, because that's what we've just done.
UFOs have appeared over nuclear weapons places, nuclear power plants, anything nuclear, they're there.
You think 90% sure this is not coming from here.
These people are absolutely brilliant, and they don't know the answer. We do all sorts of crazy things based on the fact that we're smarter than what we study, from rocks to orcas. The doubly scientific method said, okay, assume that you're studying a rat in a maze. You yourself are the rat in somebody else's maze. Now you have to look up the intelligence scale, not just down. You have to assume that whatever is studying you is hiding from you the way you are hiding from your subject, that somebody may be hiding from you. And they might be able to use multiple dimensions of time. They might be able to cloak themselves and disguise themselves. If you could cheaply engineer space-time not through the Einstein field equations but through the successor theory, you could have an entire stadium inside of a tennis ball.
Whoa. If you lived in some sort of underground facility your entire life, and then one day you got a chance to go outside and see the Keck Observatory in Hawaii in a clear night, you would be overwhelmed. You wouldn't be able to believe the universe was as big as it was.
It's an impedance mismatch. It's transcendent. Yeah. But mostly what your brain is doing is not communicating, it's screening.
What the hell is going on this planet? So according to NASA, the aliens that's supposed to be coming here in November have a strong resemblance to us. The aggressive aliens that's on their way to Earth that's supposed to get here in November resemble African American people. And they're saying they're around 7 feet tall. And if that's the case, we already know why they're aggressive. We already know what they're coming back here for. Earlier this summer, the Pentagon said that the Anunnaki will be back here in the next 2 years. And now NASA, of course, again, NASA is saying that the aliens that are coming here this November look like African Americans. You do the math. The truth of the matter is, the truth has been hidden for way too long about what this planet is, where this planet came from, who we are as a people. And apparently those interstellar beings that's coming here are coming here for a reason. And apparently someone's spoken to them.
The startling footage we're about to show you was photographed by a 42-year-old, Romero Valadares. This video was taken yesterday afternoon at his son's 7th birthday in the city of Passo Fundo, Brazil. It was sent to the local news bureau there and sent to us via satellite just a few minutes ago. All initial opinions are this is genuine. What you're about to see may disturb you.
Move, children! Vámonos!
¡Está atrás de garage! ¡Está atrás de ahí! ¡Es behind!
There have been an increase in UFO sightings in the past 2 years, and U.S. intelligence report is saying you've pushed for more disclosures about the UFO.
I was the first one to publicly acknowledge that there was a unidentified aerial phenomenon task force through the Senate Intelligence Committee because I wanted there to be greater transparency to the American people about the number of sightings of things that are unexplained. And I know everyone gets caught up on alien life and all of that, but my concern as the Director of National Intelligence was if anyone, foreign adversary, regardless of how you define foreign adversary, have technologies that the United States don't have, as this most recent report reveals, the sightings are increasing, which is a good thing, and there very clearly are now hundreds of unexplained sightings that seem to defy the law of physics and capabilities that we don't have as the world's superpower, and we can't do that if someone else has technologies that are better than we have.
Of what they call a TR-3A, which looks a lot like what the stealth bomber kind of is,
Yeah,
but also
whoa.
Yep, no
TR-3B is said to be like nothing we've seen before.
This was what I got to from Liquid Mercury. I was trying to find stuff about it, and there's theories that people say that like this is probably what they're running off of.
It's supposedly powered by a reverse-engineered anti-gravity drive that was recovered from a crashed alien spacecraft. The TR-3B is where reports of UAP performing seemingly impossible aerial maneuvers intersect with stories about very real aircraft.
Read the next paragraph.
The TR-3B's anti-gravity drive, most of which include using nuclear power to rotate highly pressurized mercury to produce plasma, and in turn, a gravitational field. Whoa.
Okay, guys, do you see that? Right there. See that little disc? That is a UFO. that is a UAP, and these people are aboard this, and they see it, and they're like, whoa, what is that? One guy even makes the comment, what is this, Area 51? They see it, it disappears in a flash, and then all of a sudden, here comes the military. Tell me, is this footage real? I think it could be. Is the UFO added? I don't know. Can't tell you that. These videos are fabricated sometimes and it's hard to tell. Let's watch. I will let you guys make up your minds on what you believe. See it? Watch it disappear. Whoa! Watch it one more time. There goes the military. Leave your comments.
We have a second witness with a video camera recording the same event in the other side. That's against the sun. Because of that, you will see the same object with two different colors. First, please watch it carefully. This is the video recorded by Pedro Hernandez a little bit after 5 o'clock, the 22nd of May, 2009.
Look in the center how the big UFO is spinning and at the same time releasing two rolls on it of spheres.
Hundreds of spheres.
Hundreds. So the spheres went away, and then the big UFO slowed down the rotation. But wait to see what happened next.
Then four little spheres come around and go around the object, like recognizing the mother and going now away. And they come back and they create what we call fleet. Probably this is a very important video because for the first time we now know how these spheres come. This is the second video
by Alfredo Carrillo. Look.
Releasing so many.
Yeah.
You see, it's in the opposite direction, and now they look black. But it's exactly the same. We have been able to see every detail, and you can see how they look intelligent. They're not just going away, they're in a line. The object now is speeding up and slowing down.
This is a comparison of both videos. Do you like it? Well, this is something, let me tell you, huh? Certainly one of a kind. And
even now, look, you cannot almost see it, but the spheres, the little black spheres are around as the other ones are here. It's just the same moment. Because many people will say, oh, that was created with a computer. But then, fortunately, we have the second witness. We have the name of both. We know where they were. We went there. And we know this is absolutely real.
Our guest on this particular day canceled at a last minute. I'm thinking, who could we get to fill this? I called up John Lear. I said, you said you had a guy who was going to work out there and maybe work on flying saucers in the desert. Can we talk to him? I don't even know his name. And he said yes. We had to black out his face. We do this interview and he spills the basics of the story. I worked out there at a place called S4. I saw 9 flying saucers in an underground base. This is technology that came from somewhere else. I'm in fear for my life. Holy cow, the phones start ringing off the hook. My news director comes rushing in, the station manager, is that for real? What's the deal on that? And we realized we had touched the pulse of the public in a way that I didn't really understand.
well, there's 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
and they're basically being dismantled. Some are, well, in various stages of completion, built from other parts, and they're being test flown and basically just analyzed.
You say there's 9 saucers. How are those tests going?
Some of them are 100% intact and operate perfectly. The other ones are being taken apart. I was involved mainly in propulsion and the power source. The propulsion system is a gravity propulsion system. The power source is an antimatter reactor. This technology does not exist at all.
The claim sounded like Hollywood sci-fi.
Once the 115 is put in, the reaction is initiated.
Just automatic.
Right.
I don't understand. I mean, there's no button to push or anything?
No, there's no button to push or anything. It apparently, the 115 under bombardment with protons lets out an antimatter particle. This antimatter particle will react with any matter whatsoever, which I imagine there is some target system inside the reactor. This in turn releases heat, and somewhere within that system there is a 100% efficient thermionic generator, essentially a heat to electrical generator in there.
Now, how is this antimatter reactor, how is this connected to a gravity generation that you talked about earlier?
Well, that reactor serves 2 purposes. It provides a tremendous amount of electrical power, and which is almost a byproduct.
Months later, when his identity was revealed, Bob Lazar said he worked at a secret facility near Groom Lake, where alien technology was being reverse engineered. This is the simple drawing he made at the time.
Here now, I had access and was permitted to view and look at the operation of this main level with the gravity amplifiers and the level below. It doesn't fly as it would in the science fiction movies. It flies with the belly, the bottom forward.
Take a look at the so-called gimbal UFO. The Navy pilot who engaged the Tic Tac, Black Aces commander Dave Fravor, has said he doesn't believe the astonishing craft was made on Earth, that the propulsion might be anti-gravity. When Lazar was shown the Tic Tac video for the first time, it immediately reminded him of the Sport model, his name for the craft stashed in the desert.
There's no question in my mind. I mean, I'm virtually certain that's the way the craft operated, and that uses close to or the exact same propulsion system.
Former Pentagon intelligence officer Lou Elizondo told us one goal of the project was to determine the physics of UFOs, how they can achieve the seemingly impossible. The military came to believe the craft relied on special metamaterials, stuff that can't be made with known technology. Lazar made similar claims decades ago and was ridiculed. Now the Pentagon is on the same page.
It all came out of you. I mean, did you think, what was your thoughts about UFOs before you had met Bob Lazar?
It changed quite a bit. I had not really given it much thought at all. You know, probably the same level of curiosity as most people. You go about your life, you pay your bills, you go to work, you love your family, and it's always out there somewhere. Hey, I wonder what the deal is on that.
Right.
But not until, it was a day in 1987, into the studio comes a guy named John Lear, and he had a certain amount of credibility. We had an interest in Area 51, not UFO related, but at the time I was producing and hosting this little public affairs show. Nobody watches it. It would be interviewing a city councilman, a county commissioner. What the heck, I'll put Lear on there. And he told me this big scenario about secret treaties with aliens and recovered technology and a giant cover-up. Suddenly the phone starts ringing off the hook. I'm getting calls about people that, who was that guy? The deal on that UFO stuff, is it real? I had him on again. 6 months later, the response was bigger. I had him on a third time with a guy named Bill Cooper. I regret that. And he told him an even more elaborate conspiracy.
He's the Behold the Pale Horse guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I read that book, and halfway through I was like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah. He tied in the JFK assassination. And,
everything. Bases on the moon.
Every time he told the story, the documents got bigger and bigger, and anybody who criticized Bill Cooper became part of the secret government, including me. So we do this third show with Lear, and he hints that he knows a guy who might be going to work out at Area 51 and knows something about alien technology. That guy turns out to be Bob Lazar. But a couple months later, I am anchoring the 5 o'clock news on KLAF, and we have a nightly or evening interview segment. Our guest doesn't show up, and I thought about Lear, so I called him up, not knowing what had been going on in Lazar's life or Lear's life, and I said, hey, is your that UFO guy you told me about, is he around? Would he do an interview? Just turned out that Bob had been through the ringer and a lot of stuff going on in his life. He felt threatened, and he said yes. We had to black out his face. We do this interview, and he spills the basics of the story. This is technology that came from somewhere else. I'm in fear for my life. Holy cow, the phones start ringing off the hook. My news director comes rushing in, the station manager, is that for real? What's the deal on that? And we realized we had touched the pulse of the public in a way that I didn't really understand. We arranged to go meet Bob Lazar, my news director Bob Stodall and I, that following weekend, and put him through a paces where we would ask him questions about his background and how he got the job. We spent a couple hours with him, and we walked out of that meeting thinking, holy shit, what if this is true?
There are objects probably approximating the shape of a disk, of such appreciable size as to appear to be as large as man-made aircraft, yet circular or elliptical in shape, flat on the bottom and domed on the top, and making no associated sound. In his report, the general described the alien craft as capable of extreme maneuverability and very evasive when sighted or contacted by friendly aircraft. This slow-motion enhancement clearly shows the craft as it's speeding along the shoreline. This cigar-shaped craft was filmed hovering in Rhode Island in 1967. A similar elongated UFO was videotaped in 1980 in the skies over Hagen, Germany. These pictures of a cigar-shaped UFO were taken in California. This UFO was photographed in Earth's orbit. Crowds gathered in Krasnodar, Russia, to marvel at this luminous cigar-shaped UFO.
That have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things.
It was sightings like this one filmed in Kentucky that made the situation impossible to contain. The military had no choice but to try and explain the UFO sightings. The first UFO tracking project was installed in Alaska. The Air Force installed sophisticated cameras and detection equipment aboard specialized reconnaissance planes to retrieve the best possible information on the UFO. Although congressmen questioned the program, no official conclusions were given. Project Blue Book continued as its research explained sightings like these as seagulls and swamp gas. Many people were not satisfied with these explanations. Blue Book was abruptly terminated in 1969. Of the 10,000 cases officially investigated, only a few remained a mystery. Of a metallic craft as it circled his house. In 1978, a terrified housewife in Spain snapped a picture of these UFOs while watching the sunset. This footage was taken by an Australian TV crew on December the 31st, 1978. This luminous domed craft appeared to have a rim around the center and two large portholes. It maneuvered at such an incredible speed it left this track on a single frame of film. No known conventional aircraft can fly at such speeds. In 1978, the United Nations released statistics showing that since 1947, 63,144 UFO sightings were reported. That's approximately one every 4. Here we see the dome is visible from two angles and the side is surrounded by large portholes. In 1991, this footage made worldwide headlines. These two discs were videotaped in a suburban neighborhood just outside Ottawa, Canada. Both UFOs landed in what appears to be a prearranged site. This footage became known as the Guardian sighting. In 1991, eyewitnesses screamed as a photographer took this picture off Manhattan Island as a disc emerged from the river and flew off. This craft was photographed rising out of the water in Australia as it docked with a smaller dark object. This UFO was spotted in Denver, Colorado as witnesses watched from a neighbor's backyard. In the mid-1990s, startled eyewitnesses filmed these craft as they hovered silently in the night skies. In the months following, similar craft were videotaped on 3 different continents. It was rare that sightings like these gained much national attention. One of the least known aspects of the UFO phenomenon may be the most chilling. With today's sophisticated computer technology and special effects, it's possible to fake a picture or alter video. But this modern technology hasn't always existed. We've uncovered startling new evidence.
Had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? He said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, you know, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
A persistent rumor holds that the United States government has recovered and is concealing fragments of alien spacecrafts and more.
Biologics came with some of these recoveries.
Human or non-human biologics?
Non-human.
The flying discs became the Pentagon's nightmare. Seemingly, fastest jets could never come close to their incredible speeds and right-angled turns.
As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared. The controller came up and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cat point roughly 60 miles away in less than a minute." You can calculate the speed.
These reports seem to center around areas where atom bombs and rockets were tested. Were alien forces keeping watch on the new weapons we savages had invented?
There have been UAP observed flying over some facilities housing our strategic nuclear forces at Malmstrom Air Force Base, in which 10 of our nuclear ICBMs were rendered inoperable. At the same time, a glowing red orb was observed overhead.
That data is not within the holdings of the UAP task force.
If something was officially brought to our attention, we would look at it. There are many things that are out there in the ether that aren't officially brought to our attention.
So how would it have to be officially brought to your attention? I'm bringing it to your attention.
Sure, so
this is pretty official.
The reading of all the documents reveals that UFOs have the ability to render inoperable present-day technology. UFOs have the ability to gain access to our most sensitive military installations, unrestricted and unlimited access to nuclear installations.
The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
Well, the Air Force position is that we investigated UFOs for 22 years. Over 12,000 sightings. About 95% of all the UFOs were explainable. They were weather phenomenon, they were balloons, they were airplanes, they were lightning. And we concluded as a result of our investigations, which was carried out very scientifically, that one, there was no threat to the security of the United States, and there was no evidence that we could ever locate that an extraterrestrial vehicle had landed here.
Arrow has found no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity, off-world technology, or objects that defy the known laws of physics.
I was shocked to hear that you're actually communicating with Sean Kirkpatrick.
Well, yes, I want to respect the privacy of my approach, because I'm desperately hoping that if we behave ourselves, we might get an interview with him. But I did drop him an email, and he's responded. I asked him for an interview, and he said, I would very much appreciate having the correct media coverage and would love to support additional media interviews, such as the one he did with ABC. I'll have to refer you to Pentagon Public Relations, as they handle all media engagements. My team has been working with them to try and engage more with the public on the work that Arrow has been doing for the past year. Thanks very much for reaching out. Now, that's not a no. He also, by the way, he's got a Latin quotation that appears at the bottom of his email, and it is universum mutatio est, vita nostra est quod cogitationes nostra facere est.
Okay.
Now, I'm a schoolboy Latin, but I've also put this through a translator, and it comes back as, the universe is changing, our life is what we make our thoughts. The universe
Ross.
is changing. Our life is what we make our thoughts.
Well, I'll tell you something, my friend. I can translate that into English in fewer words. In fact, 3 letters, WTF.
My friend Philip here was trying to find a way over the stream, and I was looking at the bushes up the top of the trees. And then suddenly this silver cigar-shaped object seemed to pop up from behind the bushes and trying to take off. Then it disappeared again.
Well, I saw the spaceship. I didn't see the man. The spaceship, it looked a cigar shape with a dome on it. And it had yellowy, orange to red light on the top of it.
How clearly did you see it?
Well, I couldn't see its face because it was too far away.
You say you saw a man as well, did you?
Yes.
And what about him?
Well, he was too far away to be seen as well.
This has got to be one of the biggest cover-ups of the last century.
Then we saw something shiny, so we all ran down over there. And we saw two people. They were in tight black suit.
In 1994, 62 pupils at the aerial school in rural Zimbabwe all said they saw and communicated with something totally out of this world. It was on a normal school day when 62 kids aged 6 to 12 saw a strange silver aircraft fall from the sky, landing in a field next to the school. Some children reported, and even the teachers, that multiple black creatures approached them and telepathically communicated to them, frightening them and causing them to cry. Some children claimed that the aliens were warning us. They warned us that the world would end because we are not taking care of the planet. For decades, the government and media have tried to hide the evidence we have that aliens exist. But why did they choose to document this one? Was it the globalists' tactic to instill a deep message in the population? Did the kids really witness this, or was this just one giant psyop?
The forest surrounding the base was eerily quiet. Not a sound. Not until a call came in.
Security sergeant told him that they had several missiles go offline. It's very rare for a missile field to go down.
America's most secure nuclear bases are not as impenetrable as one may think.
We had just got done clearing the site. That's when the lights went out. It's pitch black. We can't see anything around us. Then we see this pinpoint of light moving from north to south. And then all of a sudden it made the immediate turn. And we were thinking, like, wait a second, we don't know of any aircraft that would make that kind of 90-degree turn. This light came up very quickly, stopped over us and hovered over us. No sound. We were both poking our heads out the windows looking up at an object probably about 100 feet above us that was 50 to 60 feet in diameter. The edge of it was bright, but at the bottom of it, you could tell it was a metallic surface that we could see red and blue lights moving in a circular fashion. It was saucer on the bottom, saucer on the top, and then what I think was the control area was angular and then flat on the top of that. When the lights were enveloping us and the whole missile silo, we felt a tingling sensation over our skin, over our faces. It was so scary, it pretty much just frozen with fear. It was only there for like 2-3 minutes, but when the actual craft left, it just zipped. I mean, it was a streak of light goes off.
As they returned to base, they faced a dilemma. Speak up and risk it all, or stay silent and wonder.
We're still scared to that point, very tense. And the flight security sergeant was like, okay, so anything go on out there? We were like, no, nothing happened. After that, we would never talk about it. We knew, just hearing from other people on the base, they label you as somebody who has mental problems.
The airmen stayed silent, but just months later, multiple witnesses reported a similar unidentified aircraft in the skies above Warren Air Force Base in nearby Cheyenne, Wyoming.
I got something spotted up here in the sky. I can't figure out what it is.
This is a picture of the unidentified flying object that hovered over Cheyenne early Wednesday morning. According to 911 records, the officer saw a circular object floating in the sky, and he said it was moving slowly across the horizon.
It was kind of long-shaped and kind of oblong, and it kind of curved in it, and you could see lights in the middle going around like this, changing colors from red, blue, green, and even some yellow in it.
Whatever it was, it returned last night when there were several new reports of UFO sightings over Cheyenne.
I've never told any of my family or friends exactly what happened. Even after 30 years, the emotions are still there.
A very senior Navy individual was going to work and a 300-foot triangular craft hovered over his car for a couple minutes. And he couldn't even process what he was seeing. But then he took pictures of his car after the incident, and all the zenith upper-facing decks of his car got hit with ionizing radiation, ultraviolet, because the paint became milky. His headlights they were totally clear. His car was perfect before the incident. You have physical artifacts. The guy we assessed, he had a normal psychological composition, no weird belief system. He's just a dude that was going to work at a Navy base, and he had a huge craft. At least the physical proof he provided, he drew what he saw, no sound, these weird omnidirectional lights, kind of that classic, triangle. I didn't believe in UFOs, but these guys can't be lying to me, because they certainly are credible guys that have a lot to lose. He was super scared to come forward. He didn't tell his wife for 5 years. That was, I think, an inflection point for me where I'm like, okay, there's something going on that's not adversarial tech. Talking to these people that were literally in tears, telling me this stuff, because it was this emotional thing that they could not process analytically, what they were seeing. It was totally beyond their comprehension. So, for what it's worth. I've never seen anything, believe it or not, so I came in as...
The TR-3B black manta is reported as having a triangular shape and dark color, typically observed at night, described as large, silent, hovering slowly, and displaying pulsating and colored lights. It is rumored to have been developed from secret research seized from the Nazis after World War II. It is believed that to be capable of high G-turns, undetectable on radar, the TR-3B uses an engine system that seems akin to anti-gravity magic, using highly pressurized mercury accelerated by nuclear energy. The plasma created by this process forms an anti-gravity field around the craft. The core of the propulsion system is an electromagnetic coil that interacts with the Higgs boson field at the quantum level. It doesn't utilize traditional turbine or rocket engines, but generates thrust through high-energy plasma. Allegations of the TR-3B's existence have swirled for years, with reports of sightings and even a crash in England in 1994. A series of U.S. patents related to anti-gravity technology describe a triangle-shaped craft using an inertia mass reduction device further fueled speculation. The Belgian UFO wave between late 1989 and 1990 stands as one of the most well-documented and extraordinary events in modern UFO history.
These objects kept coming back to Belgium month after month after month. What most people were seeing was a triangular-shaped craft with a red light in the middle and a bright white light on either of the three corners of the triangle.
The wave reached its climax on March 3, 1990.
Large numbers of people in Belgium and also northwestern Germany saw mystifying objects zipping around the skies.
The Belgian military was forced to engage, scrambling 2 F-16 jets after the objects were picked up on radar.
There's a Belgian captain that was on a patrol, and he sees this massive triangle shape hovering in the sky, and he immediately calls military headquarters. Well, meanwhile, local and civilian radar is picking up these gigantic objects. NATO is too.
The jets observed erratic behaviors.
Something jumping huge distances in the blink of an eye.
Extraordinary acceleration and the ability to drop altitude by 4,000 feet within a second.
That's nearly a mile in just 1 second. Pretty extraordinary.
What happened next was a cat and mouse type chase. The 2 F-16 pilots would get the UFO on their radar. As soon as they did, it would disappear. It happened twice. After an hour-long chase, the UFO was lost over the city of Brussels.
The craft's technical capabilities were unlike anything seen before, displaying an incredible range of speed and maneuverability.
It showed the ability to go at very, very slow speeds, slower than any kind of aircraft stall speed. Shouldn't be able to go that slow. And then to have speeds that were comparable to an F-15, F-16 or faster.
The event led to a formal investigation by the Belgian government. Colonel Dubrow was tasked with managing the Air Force investigation, seeking explanations from other NATO countries, including the U.S., to determine if the objects were experimental aircraft. Many suspected that the TR-3B was the craft seen in the Belgian wave. This craft, costing $3 billion to create, was said to have the ability to cloak itself and manipulate radar. Despite the U.S. government's denial of any knowledge of these triangular objects, thousands of eyewitnesses around the world have reported seeing these black triangles.
The interesting thing about the TR-3B is how similar it looks to the Belgian sighting.
There's rumors has been around since the 1990s.
It's my personal
final assessment that 95% of what people are reporting are in point of fact our own deep black programs.
The Belgian UFO wave raises critical questions about the nature of these sightings. Are they of extraterrestrial origin, or could they be top-secret U.S. aircraft?
Have UFOs shaped the narratives of Hollywood, or has Hollywood influenced our perception of UFOs?
Do you know what an ARV is? An alien replica vehicle?
Governments globally have examined UFO sightings with explanations ranging from secret military operations to otherworldly beings. These objects have been reported for decades, long before the film industry capitalized on the intrigue surrounding them. There's documented evidence that the Air Force, the intelligence community, and the media have conspired to conduct psychological operations to shape public opinion on UFOs. These operations were very effective in creating an environment where pilots do not report their UFO sightings. Scientists and journalists do not engage with the top, and people will laugh at the subject without not research at all.
3 men who previously served in the military are set to speak publicly about what they saw in the sky and heard behind closed doors.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Can we just talk? Yeah. So what happened yesterday? I didn't read the news. Certain presidents don't have a need to know on this topic.
Unless you have to stroke a pen, assign like an executive order or something, well, why would you have a need to know? The guys that were involved in Manhattan were overlaying the same ecosystem of secrecy to protect stuff that they were protecting our nuclear secrets.
Why aren't they releasing the Kennedy files? Nobody's allowed 60 years, but every president.
If something is not a nuke, but it has radiological energy coming off it, you know, alpha, beta decay, whatever.
Same secrecy.
Same secrecy.
What is the connection with nuclear? Is it the kind of benevolent protector theory?
Manhattan Project, they were kind of the first blue book.
Have we made any agreements with any of the aliens? Do you have a sense of, the species?
Can you please explain to me in detail the event that occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base?
Certainly.
I've been waiting for this for seems like my whole life, and I literally fell out of my chair.
They observed a very large red square, estimated to be almost the size of a football field, approach the base from the ocean and hover at low altitude over one of the launch facilities.
The radio transmissions start to pour in.
As it became closer and closer to our position, it stopped and hovered right over the coastline. There's no propulsion systems, no lights, no audible sounds, and it just hovered there.
And then just all hell broke loose.
There was a lot of chaos.
These are people I'd spent years with, and they're not people that are easily frightened or intimidated. And they were terrified, and they were screaming for help over the net.
This object remained for about 45 seconds or so before darting off over the mountains.
It just shot away up the coastline. It seemed like 1,000,000 miles an hour, like it was shot out of a cannon, and then it was gone. I mean, personally, I can't explain it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The way it hovered, to make no sound, to have no propulsion system. Our aircraft.
An alien pilot was steering his spacecraft toward Earth. During his patrol, he had picked up a powerful radio signal. The mission manual indicated that the dominant species on this planet were humans. Curious, he decided to visit this blue planet to investigate further. He also intended to capture a human to take back for study. Soon, he maneuvered his spacecraft through the atmosphere and landed smoothly on the planet's surface. As he slowly stepped out of the cabin, he was surprised to find that the environment was extremely harsh, much like a dead planet. Using the ship's lights to guide his way, he proceeded cautiously. Suddenly, he came across a spherical object. After comparing it with images of humans, he confirmed that it was a human head. Not far from it, there was a pile of similar objects. Upon closer inspection, he managed to assemble a complete human body. However, he was unaware that these were just human-made mannequins. Perhaps fearing corrosion, he carefully placed the parts into a culture dish and injected them with a freezing solution to preserve them in cryogenic storage. Afterward, he returned to the cockpit, checked off the task in the manual with a large tick, and initiated the launch sequence. Mission complete, he took off and left Earth. Meanwhile, on the surface of the planet, a newspaper headline read clearly, 2030, human negotiations fail again. Nuclear war is now unavoidable.
The time has come, humans. You must accept that this world was never yours. Now we'll take over and you must disappear.